Hi everyone, welcome back. In this lesson we are going to practice on the pen tool. We will be creating all of these artworks. There are 5. We will start with the first one. So in this file you can find it in the resource folder. I have the outline of each of the design. I want you to recreate them. So you are going to duplicate this one, bring it down, and then go to the object and lock it. I am actually going to Ctrl Z and move it up a bit. And now go to the object and lock it again. Now you are going to use the pen tool to create this credit card. Of course you can use rectangle tool, it will be easier, but we want to practice on the pen tool. So the first thing, we need to enable the smart guides. Go to the view and make sure that it is enabled. Now you can see these purple lines, it will tell you where to click. We want to be exactly the same size of the outline that we have. That's why I'll make sure that it is in the right place. The guides will tell you where to click. Now go to the direct selection tool. We are going to select all of these anchor points that we have in the corners. I'm pressing on the shift to select all of them, and now just round them like this. I assume you already know about the roundness and the stuff, we already covered them. Now let's create the other part. Again, I'm going with the guides, the purple guides. Okay. When it says intersect, I'm going to click. Now we are going to go to the direct selection tool and select all of the corners and then round them like this. Let's do the same for these. I'll just make sure that I'm clicking on the intersect area. The guide, the smart guide, will tell you where is it. Just like this. I think this one is not a perfect rectangle. Okay, now it's good. Then we'll go to the direct selection tool, select all of the corners, and then we are going to make them rounded like this. Press on the Alt to duplicate and move it to the right side. Perfect. Now I'm going to duplicate this one, press on the Alt and move it up. Then we are going to rotate it like this. Then we will make it smaller and fit it to the other credit card that we have. Perfect. Now the last thing we're going to do is to do these 2 circles, or they are half circles. I'll use the pen tool for sure. Click here, here, click and drag to make it rounded like this, and one click over here. Okay. Let's do the same for the other one. Click here, click and drag to make it rounded. Smooth corner. And then click over here. Then press on the Ctrl and click on an empty area to deselect the path that you created. Now it's time to color. Before I do that, I'm going to select this one, this credit card, and press on the command with the brackets to move it below everything else, because it should be below. And then we are going to select all of them together, and I will move it to the right side, and then we are going to color it. I'm going to press I to get the color from the sample that we have above. You can do the same, or you can use your own colors if you want to have your own colors. I'll get this color from this area, then press G, and I'm going to play with the gradient. You already know about the gradient tool, we covered it already. And then for the other one, select it, press I, get the color from this one. And then for the other credit card, we're going to do the same thing. Select it, press I, select this one, press I and get the color from this one. And then we have these 2. I'm going to do the same thing. Select it, press I and get the color from this one. Then select it, press I and get the color from this one. And then we have these semicircles that we have. Click on it. And I'm going to make this one white. Then disable the stroke. And then we need to make the opacity around 60. I will select this one with the big credit card, then go to the shape builder tool and remove this area. We will do the same for this one. I'll press I to get the color from this area, then select it with the big credit card, go to the shape builder tool, press on the Alt to remove the outside area. So just like this, we created our credit card. One last thing we need to do is to add the drop shadow to this big credit card. Go to the effects and then stylize and then drop shadow, just like this. Keep these settings, copy these settings and press OK. Now we have created this beautiful credit card artwork. I will just make it a bit smaller. Or actually, I'm going to group them first. Go to the selection tool, select all of them, right click, group them together. Then you can make it smaller and move it anywhere that you want. It's too small now. And that doesn't matter. Now let's move to the other one. Now we have this fire. I'm going to click on it with the Alt, bring it down to make a copy out of it. And then we will go to the objects. And you need to select it first. Go to the object and lock it. Now we will recreate this fire using the pen tool. Go to the pen tool and we are going to start from here. If you don't see your pen tool, make sure that caps lock is closed. So I will click over here, click and drag to make it round. Here as well, click and drag to fit it well. Click over here and drag. Then click over here. And then we need the other line to be straight. That's why I'm going to click on it to remove the other handle. And now we have this straight line. Then click over this area, make it round. Okay, I think like this is good. Actually, I don't like it. Let's make only one point and drag it like this. Okay, like this we've created the main part of the fire. Let's do the other part. Click over here, then one click over here, drag it until it fits the other line. And then I just want to fit it with the main part of the fire. So that's why I'm taking time. Like this is good. And the outside, it doesn't matter because we are going to remove it. Let's do the other small part of the fire. Let's start from here, one click over here and drag like this. Another one over here. This doesn't matter. Then over here, click and drag. Then here and here. Perfect. Now we've created all the parts of the fire. I'm going to select all of them together, move them to the right side. I just made a copy of it. You can make a copy if you want to. Now let's color this. I'm going to get rid of the stroke that we have over here and then go to the gradient and make sure you're playing with the fill. Then click on this area to add a gradient to it. Then we can change the color to anything that we want. I'm going to get the color from the sample that we have. Just double click on each point and then go and get the color. Right now we are clicking on the reflection, that's why it's white. Click on this area, double click on it, and then go to the colors and make it a darker orange, like this. And the other orange, we need to play with it to make it more yellow. Yeah, I'll keep it like this for now. Now let's go to the reflection, or this one actually. I will disable the stroke and make the color white. Then the reflection that we have over here, disable the stroke and make it white, then bring down the opacity. So just like this, we created our fire. Now with the shape builder tool, I'm going to remove the parts that we don't want, the parts of the shade and also the parts of the small part of the fire. And as you can see over here, we have some of the issues. I'm going to use the direct selection tool to fix that. So I'll just play with these handles to make sure it fits with the other part of the fire. Okay, I think we'll keep it like this. You can spend more time and play with these lines and make it perfect if you want to. Yeah, I'll actually keep it like this. Now you'll use the shape builder. Select all of the layers like this. Go to the shape builder tool, press on the Alt and remove this one. We will do the same for this. Select all of the layers, go to the shape builder tool, press on the Alt and remove this area. And just like this, we created our beautiful fire. Now I'll just move it to the side. Select all of the layers, move it to the side, and then right click on it to make it a group. Okay, now let's go to the something more complex. We will create this bottle. I don't know what you call this, jar or bottle. So the first thing we are going to do is to duplicate this outline. Press on the Alt and bring it down like this. And then we are going to recreate this one. So I'll go to the pen tool and we will start with the big part of the body. I will use smart guides as my reference. So we'll start from here, click, then over here. When you have intersection, just click, intersect like this, click over here, okay, and over here, and this one. Now we need to add the stroke to it. Change the color to black if it's not black. And then go to the direct selection tool. Direct selection tool. We are going to select only the above points, not all of them together like this. Ctrl Z and click this one and this one. We want the roundness of this one to be different from the one that are below. Now select the below one and do the same thing to them, but they will be less rounded. So just like this, we created the body of the bottle. The next thing we are going to do is to create this curvy thing. It will be like a water or liquid. And of course you can play with the pen tool, with the handles and everything that you want to make this one perfect. We've already covered this and you know how to work with pen tool, and I assume that you've practiced on it. So now I'm trying to make this wave perfect. Actually not perfect, but as good as it could be. Okay, like this is good. Press on the command and click on empty area to start a new path. I'm going to create this wave as well. I'll start from here. And this curve, what we care about. Okay, we created this curve very easily. Now we are going to create this part. I'll go to the pen tool again. By the way, guys, you can use the rectangle tool for these kind of shapes, even for the body, but we want to practice the pen tool. That's why I'm using the pen tool. Let's create the other part, which is this one. I'll just go with the guides, find the intersection. It's over here, click, click, and click. If you are using the rectangle, you will not need all of this, but the purpose of this practice are for you to practice the pen tool, not the other shapes. Okay, let's create this one as well. Okay, I'll click over here and here. And just like this, we created the door. I don't know what you call it in English. These 2 points, we need to round them, but before we round them, I need to move them to the side, just like this. Okay, now select them. I will select these two first. I'll round them like this. And then I will select these two and round them like this. They will not be rounded as the one that above, but they will be a bit rounded. The next thing I want to do is to create this cutout that we have over here. I'll use the rectangle tool for this. You can also use the pen tool if you want to practice on it, but for this tiny thing I wanted to use the rectangle. Press R for the rotation and rotate it like this. And then put it in the right place, just like this. Now you are just trying to put things in their position, and later you are going to use the shape builder tool to remove the things that you don't want. Something that I forgot to do is to lock the outline. I forgot to lock it. So I'm going to lock it. Before you use the shape builder tool, make sure that you lock this outline, or you can lock it at the beginning of creating. So I'll put it in its position again, just like this. Go to the object, lock, and select like this. It has been locked. And then select all of them together and move it to the right side. Then we will use the shape builder tool to remove the extra parts and combine shapes. Select all of them and then go to the shape builder tool. You're going to press on the Alt to remove these lines that we don't want. This one as well. This one as well. Make sure that you click on the line. It will be red when you select it, just like this. And then we are going to work on the top. Over here we have some issues. We haven't rounded some part of it. So I'm going to move this a bit to the left side. I mean the right side, not the left. And then we need to round this. We need it to be similar to this one. We are going to use the direct selection tool. Make sure that all of the anchor points are selected and round them like this. Okay, now I will use the shape builder tool to combine this. I will select this one, press on the shift and the other one and the body. So we have three selected. Go to the shape builder tool and just click on it like this without the Alt to combine them together. And then we are going to work with the other parts. I will select this one and this rectangle. Go to the shape builder tool, press on the Alt to remove this one, and then Alt to remove this line. Okay, now they are combined very nicely. So now we created the outline of the bottle. Now we need to add the details. The first thing I want to add is to add the liquid. I'm going to use the pen tool to create a shape like this. Then we need to get rid of the stroke and add a fill. You can press I and get the color from here, but for me it's not working because there are many layers over there. That's why I'll go to the gradient, click on this area and make sure that the opacity is 100 like this. Then we are going to change the color of the gradient. Let's make it something like this. By the way, if you don't see gradient, go to the window and enable it from there. This side will have a lighter color. So we have two types of red. Like both of them are not completely red, but one side is darker than the other, and this is what we want. I'm going to use the gradient tool over here to adjust this gradient that we have. Now select the shape with everything else, go to the shape builder tool, press on the Alt to remove this area. Then we will deselect and select the shape with the wave lines. So I'm going only to select the wave line with the shape, just like this. And then go to the shape builder tool, press on the Alt to remove this area. And then I'm going to select the shape only. And I will use the command with the brackets to send it back, just like this. And now we have created the liquid. The next thing we are going to do is to create these lines that we have. I'm going to use the pen tool for that. We will start with the lines that we have in the liquid. Go to the pen tool. We are going to create a line over here. Make your line. I'll press on the command to disable the pen tool. Click on it, then go to the stroke. Make the size 1 and disable the fill. Then click on the options for the stroke. Make the caps rounded. Now I will create another line below it. I'm using the smart guides to make sure that they are aligned together, just like this. I will press and hold on the command or control to click on this point and make this line longer, like this. And then we are going to create the circles. I will use the ellipse tool for that. I want it to have the same color of the liquid. I will press on the eye and get the color from here, and then I will add some of the stroke to it. Then I'm going to make some copies of it. I'll make it bigger. Guys, make sure that you have the scale of the stroke and effect disabled. Go to the transfer. If you don't have it, you can find it under the window. The window menu. So make sure that the scale is not selected. Let me show you what it does if it's selected. Let's enable the scale. I'll just increase the size of the stroke and enable it. Now when you are scaling it, it will scale the scale and effect. So we don't want that. Make sure it's not enabled. Make your stroke 1 and we are going to scale it like this. And then make another copy, make it smaller. Okay. I'll make some other copies. Let's move it down like this. Just make sure that you're doing exactly what I do. And if you want to make something different from mine, you can move these circles to different places. For me, I'm going to replicate what exactly I've created before, so you can also follow that. So now we have one copy outside of the liquid. And another copy, I will make it over here. Let's make this a bit smaller. And then I'm going to make another copy and move it to the right side. We want this copy to be completely black. But before I do that, I will duplicate this line and move it over here. Then make another copy out of it. By the way, I'm pressing on the Alt or Option to duplicate it. And then I'm going to select these two and move it over here. Don't forget, when you want to duplicate, you have to press on the Alt or Option. Now I'll duplicate this circle as we said, and I'll move it to the right side. Make it smaller and change the fill to black color. Now we only change one color of the gradient. We need to remove the gradient. I will give it one solid color, which is black. Okay, we need to make another copy out of this, and I will bring it down. So I will move it to somewhere around here. Okay, I think we've created most of the elements. Now we need to make this reflection thing. For that, I'm going to duplicate the body of the bottle. I'll just click on it, Ctrl C, Ctrl F to paste it in the place. And then I will disable the stroke and add the white color to the fill. And then we are going to bring down the opacity. Make it 11 or 10. 10 is good. Then press on the Shift and Alt together to scale it from the center. Just like this, we are scaling it from the center. And then we can move it down like this. I will make another copy, Ctrl C, Ctrl F. And then I will move it to the side. And you will make another copy. I will make it a bit smaller this first, and then you will make another copy. Okay, so I'll make another copy like this, and I will move it just like this. Just like this, we've added this glass effect to the bottle. And then we need to add more reflections to make it more glassy. I'm going to add the other reflection that we have. So for that, I'm going to use the pen tool. So it will be the main reflection that we have. Go to the pen tool, one click over here, and then another click outside. Click and drag to make it curved like this. I'll move it up like this one. Just make sure that you have a very nice curve like this one, and then close your path like this. Now bring down the opacity and then press on the command and brackets to send it back. We need it to be behind the reflections. Okay. Now I'm going to select the reflection with the body of the bottle and also the wave lines. Make sure that you're pressing on the shift when you are trying to select more than one object. Select them and then go to the shape builder tool, press on the Alt, remove this area and this area. Like this, you are good. The next thing you are going to do, I will select the reflection, select it, and then we are going to bring down the opacity because it's very bright now. Like this, go to the opacity and bring it down just like this. We are good now. Let's make other reflections that we have. I'm going to use the pen tool and make a rectangle over this area. I'm pressing on the shift to make straight lines. And also I'm going with the smart guides to make sure I'm creating a perfect rectangle. We will use the direct selection tool to select these anchor points, select all of them and make it round like this. We are going to bring down the opacity just like this. And then we are going to create more reflections. I'll press on the shift and make this a bit bigger. Don't stretch it, just make it bigger like this. Then we are going to create other reflection lines that we have. I will use the rectangle tool for this. Okay, then we need to round the corners. Actually, we need to make this a bit thinner. Just like this. And bring down the opacity. Maybe 20 is good. Yeah. Then I will duplicate this, bring it over here, make it thinner, bring it down a bit. Okay, we are good like this. I'll make another copy, move it over here and make it smaller. Right now we lost the roundness. I will make sure it is round again like this. Perfect, that's done. Now we need to work on the top of the bottle. So let's go to this area. Select this part and then we will add a fill, make it white. Then you will need to use command with the brackets to move it up. It should be above everything else. Press on the command and the brackets. Okay, just like this, it's above everything. Now go to the appearance and with the fill, click on the opacity and bring the opacity down. Just like this. And then we need to add some of the reflections like this. I'll just copy this one, move it up. I'll make it a bit thicker. And of course it needs to be shorter. And then round the corner like this, make it a bit longer. I will select this one with the reflection and go to the shape builder tool, remove this area. And then you will create the other one. Now I will duplicate this one, move it over here, select with this part, go to the shape builder tool and remove this area. And now it's time for this part. We will make this cutout. So I'm going to use the pen tool. I will make some extra anchor point over here and one over here. And then press on the command and bring this anchor point down. And then press on the Alt to make it a smooth point. And you already know these shortcuts we already covered and you have the document. Okay, make something like this. Make it as good as you can. Then go to the stroke settings, make the cups round and also the corners round. And we are good like this, I think. Now the next thing, we need to color this. Click on it and we are going to give some color like this one. Click on it, go to the gradient and we are going to add some colors. I'm going to take some time to add some colors. I mean the wood color. You can just go ahead and get the color from the one that you already have above. So I'm just experimenting with the colors. It's a bit hard to get this wood look gradient. Absolutely not. Let's double click on this one again and change the colors. You don't need to follow me, you can just choose your color and go ahead, skip this part. But I just want to show you how I come up with the colors that I go with, and you can see that I spent some time to get the color that I want. It's not always very easy and straightforward. It needs some of the patience and experiment. Okay, right now I got the color that I want. I'll keep it like this. Now I will duplicate this circle, press on the Alt and move it up. Just like this, move it over here. Press on the I and get the color from this area and bring down the stroke width to 1. Then we need to duplicate it again. We need another copy of this circle. I'll move it up, this one. Then press on the Alt and drag it down to make a copy. Make it smaller like this. And then we need some black circles. I'll just duplicate this one. Move it over here. Another copy over here. Okay, the next thing we are going to do, move this up and click on this one, copy, Ctrl+C, Ctrl+F, and then press on the Shift and Option together to scale it down. Now we need to get rid of the stroke that we have on this copy. First, make sure it's fitting inside it. Then for the fill, make it white and get rid of the stroke. Then bring down the opacity. You'll make it 30 and then fit it inside it like this. It's like a nice touch and reflection. One last thing I want to do, I want to play with these lines that we have. I'll make them a bit longer. Select both of these and bring it down like this to make it longer. This one as well, select both of them, make it longer. And this one I'll move it over here. Then I will make 2 lines on this area as well. We will use the pen tool to create our lines. 1 line over here. I need to make the ends round. Go to the stroke and make the ends or the caps round. I'll make another copy, move it over here, make it smaller like this. Okay, I need to move this a bit to the left side. And then we have these reflections above the stroke. We need to move them behind. So Shape Builder is not going to work. For that, I'm going to select each of them, press on the Command and the brackets to move them down. I'm using the left bracket to move them down. Command and the left bracket, just like this. By the way, Command is Control on the window. Perfect. Now we've created our bottle and it looks amazing. It's very easy to create these artworks once you learn all of the tools of Illustrator. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed and learned something new from this lesson. In the next lesson, we will continue creating what is left, which is the Marlboro box and also this character face. I will see you there. Bye bye.